Dee Sleep, and I own and operate Chicken Creek Communications out of my home in Spearfish, South Dakota. Well, mine is kind of a unique story, I think, because I actually didn't necessarily plan to start this business. My husband and I relocated to Spearfish for his work, and I had some contacts from previous companies I'd worked for and asked me if I'd be willing to do a little freelance work for them. Just started doing more and more of that, and then word of mouth got me a few more clients, and pretty soon I had a fairly good amount of business coming in, and that's when I decided, yeah, this is something I want to do. And within the first year then I joined the Spearfish Chamber of Commerce and decided that there was a future for me in this business. I primarily have specialized in print graphic design, doing everything from brochures to logo design, catalogs and newsletters and annual reports. I have expanded and I'm doing more with online as online has become more prevalent. That's more as a complement for my existing clients. If I do their catalog, then could I also do their website? As a person who is active with the Spearfish Chamber of Commerce, when Dakota Rising was first launched, I decided after the first year that I just wasn't sure where I wanted to go with my business. You know what, I'm not ready. And then the next year came around and I still thought I wasn't really ready. And well, eventually it occurred to me that well, maybe the process would help me determine what I wanted to do with my business. The whole application process for Dakota Rising may help me figure that out. And so that's when I ultimately decided to go ahead and apply, just see what happened. It really made me think about my business and where I wanted to be in a few years and put the steps down to get there. I hadn't ever really done a business plan. You know, I started my business sort of as jobs came along and didn't really have a roadmap or goals or objectives. And so the application process really helped me do that. Certainly the Dakota Rising process brings a new perspective. It's really interesting that most everyone comes from a completely different business background, and at first it might seem that that would make it more difficult, but in a lot of ways I think it makes it more valuable because it's not about being a graphic design business, it's just about running a successful business. Nobody really knows what to expect when you first start the process, and I think everyone comes away with something a little bit different. I was encouraged to just open up and participate and be honest. Just the Dakota Rising process in and of itself has enough integrity that I haven't ever felt nervous about sharing information or anything like that. I've said before in the process that my business, honestly, up until now has been more of a freelance business than an entrepreneur venture. And I want to take it to that entrepreneur level, and I want to get to where my income is not tied to how much time I spend behind the computer, which means that I need to hire help and have other income coming in, and I have actually already started that process. If it hadn't been for Dakota Rising, I may have never taken that. I wouldn't at this point most likely have taken that step. I would have been very cautious about hiring, and I would have just put my head down and kept working harder instead of smarter. I've definitely seen benefits in being encouraged to share with my cohorts. They'll say, well, what can we do? Which is wonderful to have people saying, what can we do? But I think, again, as human beings, not only do we need deadlines, but to have someone who's going to follow up later. Because I pretty much agreed through the process that this is what I needed to do. Hiring would be in the best interest for me and my business in the future. But to actually make the step, I had to know, okay, when I meet with them next, they're going to say, okay, back in 2 months ago you said this is what you needed to do. Why haven't you done that? I would just encourage people to apply. I think in some ways the application process seems a bit overwhelming because there's a lot to it, but that's all for a good reason. You know, that people shouldn't let the idea of having to write a description of their business or put together their budget or look at their financial situation, let that overwhelm them. That there's value in the process and there are people that help you all along the way, and so I would just encourage businesses to just try it. If you fall and you're eligible to apply, I would say do it.